This video is completely different to what you probably ever watched. It might be one of those woo-woo spiritual type shit, but I'm just gonna say what I gotta say. It's a theory I came up with and it's kind of interesting. So hear me out. A third of your life is sleeping, which is major. So if you live to 133, around 33 of those years, you're just sleeping. Now let's say if you could take advantage of that sleep. So rather than it being for recovery, there could be more to it. You're probably gonna see what I'm getting at. So I've seen people do lucid dreaming, people that do astral projection, stuff like that. And you could argue that's technically living an extra life. Let's say if you could lucid dream every single day and you want to, I don't know, let's say, pretty much try to see this as a video game, some kind of movie. So let's say I wanted to learn a technique, I don't know, it could be a boxing technique, for example. Now imagine you actually do that physically when you wake up, you go to the gym or just learn your technique. Now let's say you could lucid dream where you can repeat the same technique over and over again. Because as we know, the mind can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. So also when you have dreams, you get nightmares and stuff like that, you wake up sweating, your heart's beating like crazy. So if you could pretty much do the same thing, like rather than it being a nightmare, you use it for something productive to a sense. Yeah, so this is a bit confusing. Let me just try and put everything down. So for dreams, most people dream roughly, I think it's 3 to 5 times a day, but most people just never remember. They completely just blank out and don't remember a single thing when they wake up. But personally, I think there's more to dreams. It's more like try to tell you something about your mind or your current situation. I think dreams are based on your current situation, your daily thoughts, or just something. So pretty much I believe dreams have a meaning and it's trying to tell you something. That's just for you to decode and no one else can really decode it if you were to just tell them your dream, since everything is subjective to you. Now with all that being said, let's say you could master lucid dreaming. I don't think that's possible, doing it every single day. Couldn't you argue that you'd be living 2 lives? Or 1.3 life, whatever that is. I don't know what it'd be like, but pretty much living 2 lives. Yeah, that sounds crazy, but imagine doing a technique and constantly repeating it over and over again during the dream. Now, I wouldn't be surprised that that actually affects you when you wake up, since like I said, the mind can't tell the difference between the two. I'm sure you've heard the experiments where people, 2 groups, one does the piano physically, one does in the mind, and then another test where one plays basketball in the mind, other one plays physically, and they both pretty much had similar results. Pretty much exact same. Now, this is the same concept, so but rather than visualizing, you're just sleeping, and you're visualizing while sleeping. So yeah, what the hell, how do you explain that? The more senses you put, so your emotions, all 5 senses, and the more vivid you see and picture in your dream, or even just visualization, the more realistic it comes across, especially to the mind. I'm sure many of you had a dream, and then within that dream, you had a dream and you wake up and you didn't realize until after. I'm sure most of you probably had a dream and you just wake up and continue to do your daily tasks. For example, I don't know, go downstairs to brush your teeth, and then you wake up again and you're like, oh shit, I was just dreaming. So it was a dream within a dream. Now that's how realistic it can be. In the dream world, you ain't bound by time and space, so any thought you have can instantly manifest. So if you want to fly, you can fly. That's pretty much what lucid dreaming is. And if you want to, I don't know, think about a car, you literally have the car in front of you. Just pretty much think it and it'll pop up. I know the video is missing structure, but after what I've said, it's not crazy to think you could live 2 lives in one, if you could somehow master that. Or you could say most of us are living half a life, since we're sleeping majoritarius, so like 60%, 65% of a life. So the whole journey is pretty much crazy. So it goes from what exactly are dreams, the purpose, remembering the dream, then controlling the dreams, and then finally you'd be jumping into stuff like from lucid dreaming to astral projection, and then there's the hardest one, which is said to be out-of-body experience. Astral projection is said to be the same as lucid dreaming, and out-of-body is said to be the same as a near-death experience. This sounds crazy to the closed mind that hasn't really done much research on it. I've made a note right here. It's more to do with the frequency and stuff like that, and Nikola Tesla's phrase, which is way too woo-woo type stuff. So, and I'm sure most people just think it's crazy, so I'll just ignore that and just leave it. But I might talk about it later on, but I doubt it. So at the time of me coming up with this video and making the notes, which is a few months ago, I did try astral projecting for 3 days. It's been much longer than that, but I haven't really been taking it seriously. So the experience I had was literally crazy. It's indescribable. The astral projection videos used to come on my feed years ago, and I used to look at it and think most of them are full of shit, or it's just you just brush it off pretty much. But now that I've looked back at it, I thought, why not just give it a try? Because there's so many people doing it, and it can't be as messed up or bullshit as I thought. If there's so many people talking about it, and the experience of what they've said seems crazy. I could make a video about my actual projection experience, which is only 3 days from the note that I have now from here, but I've got more on my phone. 3 days might not seem like a lot, but trust me, when you're doing something like this, there's loads of things that you come across, especially since you're new. And if you've never heard of it or even tried it. So the most common end step before you actually project is your whole body literally vibrates. It's a weird feeling, and you literally can't explain it. So yeah, if you want me to make a video about my experience, then just let me know and I'll maybe create it.